In 1994, I began my business. At that time, I'd been working as a secretary for many, many years. And although I didn't really enjoy typing, I felt there was an opportunity for what I classed as secretarial overload. But back then, it was very hard to convince bosses for a person who wasn't an employee to actually give them the work to do off-site. How wrong I was. You look at today, and the virtual assistant is really what I was doing back then, is now part of everyday business life. So at that time in 1994, I'd be ringing around and asking all these people, would you like what you class now as a virtual assistant, and getting lots of no's. So I'm thinking to myself, there's got to be something else. You know, I'm going to test some other waters here. And lo and behold, I get a call from my accountant. Now, you may be thinking, was this because I couldn't understand the numbers inside the brackets because I didn't have a colour printer, or was there another reason? Well, there was another reason. Matthew had established a very large accountancy practice, and he'd known me since we were young children. And he rang me up and asked me to come and train his receptionist, new girl on reception. He said, you know, Michelle, I can't think of anybody else that I would like to come and ask her and speak to her and train her how to answer that telephone effectively and how to be that frontline person. I was a little bit shy at first, thinking to myself, oh, goodness me, training. How am I going to go about this? But I took the plunge because, see, Matthew could see the potential that was in me, and so I seized that opportunity. I wrote the training plan, I conducted the training, and since then I have now got a highly successful training business here in Australia and overseas within that 15 years. And if it hadn't been for my accountant, of all people, to say to me, Michelle, can you please do this, I wouldn't be standing here today. So I see this as an amazing circle of events that here I am speaking to you today, a group of accountants, and that was where I started off 15 years ago. So what I'm wanting to speak to you about in our session this afternoon is you seizing the opportunity. Having a look at the potential that is inside you, whether it be at the firm that you are at present. Are there opportunities there? Perhaps going elsewhere, starting up your own business, or even getting out of the profession altogether. But it's seizing that opportunity. So I ask you now, are you able to rise to that challenge? Do you want to make a difference from tomorrow? Because over these 4 days, I'm sure you have heard lots of speakers and you're taking lots of notes, as I always do at various conferences. The firm needs human resources. That's what it's all about. We need people. Because really, it's yourselves in the business and your staff that make the difference between you and your competitors. Because your product is basically very similar, is it not? But it's the way that you deliver it that makes that difference. So it becomes very much a two-way street. The employer wants to have enthusiastic, hard-working, pleasant, smiling, efficient accountants, as well as other staff in their office. And for those people, the employer would like to spend money, perhaps on further education, whether it be skills-based training or other educational opportunities that they may have. But the employer doesn't always want to do that unless they've got the staff that they believe are really going to grasp that opportunity and go forward with it and progress the firm that they're working for in that forward position. But on the other hand, you have the employee who now looks at the opportunities in the workforce and says to themselves, what company has got a career path development? Do they have that? Or is it just a firm that you get this job and you don't go any further? So it really is a two-way street. We've got employees who are looking for the career path development, but we've got employers who don't always want to show it unless they know they've got the right staff. So it becomes quite a catch-22 situation.